Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of El Supercast. With me today is Souleman X. How are you doing today, Soulman?
Tired but good. How are you, Ginyu?
I'm doing all right. So, State of Decay 2. When did that game first come out?
It actually came out on Tuesday, the May 22nd, or if you pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition, you get 4-day early access from Friday, May 18th.
Now,
So it's still fairly new.
okay, I have very limited intel on this game because I only saw a few clips on Twitch today. And so I understand that there are color regions in the map: red, yellow, and I think white too? Or am I not remembering it right?
No, you're right. Uh, White is usually like a secured area, whether it's temporary or permanent. So it could be something like maybe your base, an outpost, another survivor enclave, or you search the area and it was secure. Yellow areas are infestations, which means, like as it suggests, there's a shitload of zombies. And then the red ones are actually new for this state of decay. It's these abominations called plague hearts that pump out this new disease called blood plague, and it's very infectious. So dealing with the plague hearts is essential.
All right. Um, One thing that I noticed, and I want your confirmation on this if you have any, is it RNG if you start off with a better backpack?
No. Typically, you start any character or characters you start with or acquire typically have a 6 slot backpack, but you can find bigger backpacks, or maybe you find other survivors with bigger backpacks. There's the biggest ones are the 8 slot backpacks.
Okay, so 8 slots. Yeah, cause some of the people that I saw playing, they had better backpacks than the lead streamer. She only had a 6 slot.
Right? Even an 8 slot, those they'll fill up quick
Yeah.
because if you're gonna be out scavenging, you need all the space you can. Definitely bring a vehicle with extra trunk space because they fill up quick. Especially if you find rucksacks,
Oh,
you
what's
need a
what's
vehicle
that?
for those.
Rucksacks? What's that?
They're big old like backpacks or duffel bags
Oh,
of
okay.
essential supplies
Mm.
for your base. Like there's food, medical supplies, fuel, building materials, ammunition. I think those are the main ones.
Okay.
I mean, you can break them open and you get various materials depending on the type of rucksack, but you definitely want to have rucksacks to bring to your base because if you run out of certain supplies, then you're screwed pretty much.
Hmm. One thing that I saw that was interesting is that people had two ways of opening things. There was the break it fast and make a lot of noise, or be careful and not make so much noise.
Yep, that was in both the first and the second. When you're searching, you definitely should be quiet. It'll be slower, but you won't draw attention. But if you try to search fast, you risk making too much noise and drawing any possible nearby zombies.
Hmm.
But either way, that falls under the wits stat. So eventually, when you max that out, they're pretty. Your survivors are pretty efficient at searching, whether it's fast or slow.
So, what do you think of the game so far? How much hours have you spent in it?
Oh, geez, I can't put a number on the hours. Even with all the hours I've poured into it, I've barely made any progress. I spent most of the time just trying to build up influence so I could get some of the good outposts, like an outpost that provides water and one that provides electricity,
Hmm.
since those can take up slots for your bases. So I decided just to go for the outposts, even though they're kind of pricey. And I haven't really done too many missions, mostly just character-driven missions and a couple enclave missions,
So,
but nothing too crazy.
are you on the online network doing multiplayer or solo?
I've been soloing so far. The thing with the multiplayer, it's cool that you can play with other people now. The only downside is that only the host player benefits from any kind of scavenging you might do. So
Really?
let's say you were the host player of your
Mm-hmm.
game, and then like me, Moo, and like I don't know, Ray decide to jump into your game. We can all go scavenging, but only you will benefit from anything that we find.
Oh, that's kind of messed up.
I mean, it's good if you got like friends to play with, but if it's just a bunch of randoms, then that's kind of shit because then only the if they're the host, then they're the only ones benefiting,
Mm-hmm.
and you get nothing out of it really, other than being a helping hand.
One of the people that I saw playing mentioned something about multiplayer trophies, I think it was, or
There's
multiplayer
probably a few.
achievements. I think it was multiplayer achievements. I think it was one of the two.
I'm sure there's at least a few of them. I haven't unlocked any yet. I've unlocked a lot of over half the achievements so far, and my gamer score is not even at the halfway mark yet. I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm at like 480 out of 1,000 gamer score, and I've got over half the achievements. I don't have a lot of the high value or rare achievements yet.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that sounds like a pretty decent game.
I mean, I don't know how good your PC is, Ginyu, but you could essentially play it on PC, and it's like online multiplayer is compatible between PC and Xbox One since they're both Microsoft.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'll have to see what are the minimum requirements and see if I have that.
Just don't be surprised because State of Decay, one downside to the series is that the game mechanics can get very buggy,
Mm-hmm.
and the new one is not an exception. But there's hopefully going to be a few more early patches coming out soon, maybe as the bugs get discovered. I know there was a pre-launch uh, patch that came out, and there may or may not have been a day one patch that came out as well.
Mm. So let me ask you this. You talk about stats. So there's a RPG element to this game too?
Oh yeah, there's your basic stats that every survivor is going to have, whether they're a part of your group or not, are fighting, shooting, cardio, wits, and then they'll have a fifth stat. Or not all of them are going to have a fifth stat. Some of them do come with a fifth stat. Some of them are quite useful, others not so much.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't come with a fifth stat, you can eventually teach them a fifth stat, and if you max out any of their stats, you can branch out and have them specialize in like a sub ability of that stat. So, for example, one of the special stats like that for that fifth slot is gardening, and once you max out gardening, you can branch out and specialize in either agriculture or herbalism,
Okay. That sounds pretty cool.
and each one yields different results depending. And like I've got 8 survivors in my group, and one of them already had the gardening stat, and I think I taught the other one the gardening stat.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one specialize in agriculture, the other in herbalism.
So let me guess. The herbs are more for healing HP and the rest is for food?
Yeah, I think it's like agriculture helps you produce more food through your gardening,
Okay.
and then herbalism helps you produce more medicine through gardening.
Hmm. So, which is the zombie you hate the most? Is it the Juggernaut?
Oh yeah, the juggernauts, they're pretty tricky. I haven't engaged one yet. I've seen a few from a distance, but thankfully I haven't had to engage one yet.
Uh-huh.
But I think they made them a lot more challenging this time around from what I heard. And just watching some of the gameplay footage, I've seen some juggernauts just like go to town on survivors and like rip them in half and
Yeah.
start eating them, and that's like instant death. I do not want to risk losing any survivors to a juggernaut.
Instant death. Oh man. That's pretty
I already
cool.
I already had to start the game over once, and that was around the pre-launch time because I was careless. And even though I had my medic and I had another survivor, and it was like I don't remember if it was a medic specific mission, but
Mm,
I brought along an extra survivor to help me. And I was playing as the extra survivor. We go to this enclave, and the survivors ended up turning hostile against us. And there was a horde of zombies nearby that got drawn in by the gunfire.
hmm
And I accidentally switched to my medic as she was getting her ass handed to her by both the bad survivors and the zombies, and she died.
Well, we all learn from our failures, so man. Hopefully.
Oh, yeah, I haven't lost my medic this time yet. But in case medic textbook that I found on a scavenge, so if I do lose a medic or I want to have the other like cover both of the subcategories of medic, I could teach one of my other survivors who doesn't have a fifth stat medical.
hmm Okay. Well, that was a good discussion in the game. So, let me remind the viewers here that sometime later in the week shall be the last episode of Three Guys One Internet for season one,
Oh God.
and yeah, I won't give away what we're talking about, but the literal shit is about to hit the fan on that one.
I'm after all is said and done, I am probably going to need a lot of dog therapy and or lots of zombie video game therapy.
hmm Yeah, that
It's
that that's a good way to put it, so man.
dog therapy is always good because who doesn't love hugging a cute fluffy dog,
hmm
or who doesn't love going and killing zombies?
Yeah, yeah. Well, all right, everyone. This has been another edition of El Supercast. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.
Later.